just about a minute away from the start of this contest between St. Thomas and Plattsburgh here at the Kreitzberg Arena on the campus of Norwich University. Tonight's championship game you'll see later tonight will be the Norwich Cadets taking on the arch rival Middlebury Panthers as Norwich looks for their second consecutive and 8th championship in the Primelink Great Northern Shootout. But before we get started with that, we have our consolation game. This will be the second year that Plattsburgh has been in this game in a row, going with a scoreless tie against Middlebury last year. And as we said yesterday, this is the second appearance for the St. Thomas Tommies here in the Primelink Great Northern Shootout. Last one coming at Middlebury in 2008, where they matched up with Plattsburgh in the third place game. Plattsburgh beat them 5-3. Game-winning goal was scored by Ward Smith, and Brian Hitz was in net for the game-winning goaltender. So we'll see how that shoots off today in the third place game so far. So Plattsburgh has the history, 1-0 against St. Thomas going into this contest.
Well, Plattsburgh got a goal in the first period yesterday in the first game against Middlebury, and after that their offense was pretty quiet. Like, there was not a lot to talk about from this team. Bob Emery is going to look to change that and get some big play from his defense. We have Barry Royman and the captain Paul Puglisi starting for Plattsburgh today on the ice. We'll see if they can help out Sam Foley between the pipes today.
Puck about to be dropped. We are underway with our consolation game here in the Primelink Great Northern Shootout as Paul Puglisi gives the puck up to Alex Jensen right away. That is cleared back in the zone, gloved by Spencer Brendel. He brings it up the ice. He's going to look for Connor McBride, but a great play by Puglisi. Puck into the neutral zone, goes right into St. Thomas's bench with a stoppage of play. 19:45 left remaining in the first. Paul Puglisi, the captain for the Plattsburgh Cardinals out of St. Louis, Missouri. One of the anchors on the defense for the last 3 years here in Plattsburgh, and he has been doing a very good job as he's one of the featured players for the Primelink Great Northern Shootout this year, along with Robbie Vanelli for St. Thomas, who scored the game, what was the tying goal at the time against Norwich last night. Play back into the zone. Tyrone Simcoe getting caught out of place for just a second as Mark Constantine has the puck in the corner. Constantine looking to give it to Alex Jensen. Jensen takes over out of a little bit of a scuffle as now Constantine fights with it along with John Kirtland. Anthony Moser going to take it out for St. Thomas as that goes back in to their own zone as Kirtland has it now. Kirtland looking to send it up ice as it goes into Plattsburgh zone, and Barry Royman will take over. Royman will find Nick Jensen up on the left side. Tries to get a pass up to Dylan Fox, but it's taken away by St. Thomas. It goes back into the neutral zone. Brandon Bedell going to make his way through into St. Thomas zone. He will dump the puck around. That'll be taken back over by David Russ. Russ going to send that back into the neutral zone as Rich Body going to chase it down. That is going to be an icing call. Face-off going to come back down into St. Thomas zone.
Some fast play here from Plattsburgh early on, making some moves into St. Thomas's zone early, pushing the puck down there. Almost started to look like they were doing some little bit of dump and chase to start off the game, and they're continuing that trend right now as the puck has rarely been in Plattsburgh zone so far.
Travis Baker getting a dump off the face-off. He dumps it in and tries to chase it down as they fight for it behind Sam Foley, the goaltender. Plattsburgh's going to take over as Brandon Bedell has the puck now. Bedell going to skate into the neutral zone as the offense going to make a line change as he dumps it in. Nick Jensen going to chase it down along with David Russ right there, looking right in front for Andrew Smith, but Smith cannot send the puck home. A chance early for Plattsburgh, but it has been a veil. Bedell going to send it up ice. Gets a little bit of an arm from Robbie Vanelli. As St. Thomas looks to take it up in the Plattsburgh zone. That is going to be chased down into the zone, taken back over by St. Thomas right in front. Shot going to be up in the air. That's going to be gloved by Anthony Calabrese and sent over to where Jared Docking is. Plattsburgh with the puck on the left side. Offside's going to be called as Andrew Smith jumped over the blue line just a little bit too early.
Good puck movement there by the Cards, Mike. They brought it right into the neutral zone, pulling the puck down from out of the air, bringing it back behind Foley, and then kicking it up, putting the pressure back down on the Tommies, trying to get their defense back. They had the 2-on-2, but unfortunately Andrew Smith was caught off sides. Stopped that movement by the Cardinals.
Face-off coming in the neutral zone just outside of St. Thomas's zone as Anthony Calabrese has the puck down for the Cardinals. He dumps it in, and it's going to be chased in by Michael Cassidy along with Michael Radisa. Radisa, the freshman, with the puck now behind the net, going to send it back around looking for Michael Cassidy. He does not have it as now Bryce Walker will take over for St. Thomas. Play dump back into the zone to Tyrone Simcoe as Anthony Moser going to take over once again. He's going to find Connor McBride with the puck who deflects that in, but that just goes to the left of Sam Foley as now Plattsburgh takes over again. They head into the neutral zone. Here comes Mark Constantine. Constantine looking to make a move, but that is availed by John Kirtland. Constantine with the puck now, along with Connor Gorman and Alex Jensen out there on the ice surface. As Constantine sends it through, taken over by Kirtland again, right to McBride. McBride up to Bryce Walker, and they dump it in for another line.
Good defensive stand there by St. Thomas. Not giving any clear movement there by Constantine, cutting him off right as he broke into the zone, cutting off his passing lanes, and creating the turnover for Plattsburgh. Turnover for Plattsburgh. Quick line changes here by Bob Emery, keeping some fresh legs out on the ice.
Icing going to be called on Plattsburgh as that'll come back down into Plattsburgh again with 16:34 remaining in the first period. Shots 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. A lot of dump and chase so far in the first period, less than 4 minutes in.
Interesting play from Bob Emery there with that strategy. Haven't really seen them doing a lot of that this season. Their offense more of a, taking the 2-on-2 or the 3-on-2 and just moving the puck up past the tic-tac-toe offense. And haven't really seen that much of the dump and chase, but maybe it's a new strategy he's trying to implement today, seeing as how the offense was not very strong yesterday. Doesn't hurt to change things up a little bit.
Rich Botting makes contact with the puck, which will wave off the icing as Alex Nystrom takes over now for St. Thomas as he fights as Rich Botting has it behind the net now. Travis Baker right there with him along with Brandon Badeau. Badeau going to give it up to Dylan Fox on the left side. Fox going to find Zach Pop in the middle as they skate into the zone. Shot goes in off the post. Interesting shot, took a weird deflection and just hit the post on the left side from Tyrone Simcoe. He beat the goaltender, but cannot go in. Now a 3-on-2 with Sam Foley going to glove it up on the shot from transfer Brandon Bandman. Bandman seen time before from Bentley College in 2009-2010.
Little bit different style of hockey, two different styles of hockey here on the ice today, Mike. Plattsburgh is a fast team, but they are not very big. They have a few big players, Andrew Smith, Mike Grace, Paul Puglisi, a few defenders who are pretty big. Andrew Smith here taking it into the zone. But St. Thomas, they're fast as well, but they're a lot bigger and play a more physical game than Plattsburgh does. You don't see Plattsburgh laying hits into the boards as much as you will see St. Thomas do that today. There's going to be a point where I'm sure Bob Emery is going to tell his team, okay, you can get a little bit more physical now if you have to. And I'm sure we will see that a little bit further down the line if Plattsburgh doesn't start to get anything on the board sooner or later.
Jared Docking with the puck now as he gives it up to Jake Mooney. Mooney trying to juke around Anthony Moser, but Moser will take over and give it up to Connor McBride. McBride going to try to go through two Plattsburgh defenders. He sends that into the corner where Barry Reutman will take over for the Cardinals, giving it over to the captain, Paul Puglisi. Puglisi up to the left side as he will find Michael Cassidy as that is taken away right in front from him. McBride with the puck up the left side with Puglisi on his right, chasing him down. As here, good defensive play by Paul Puglisi, getting it out of the zone. He caroms one off the boards, sends it back into the neutral zone where David Russ takes over. Russ going to send it over to Jeremy Hepler. Hepler going to dump that into the zone. Sam Foley going to stick that as Barry Reutman attempts to go around him. Play going to go back to the left side of the ice as now Bryce Walker and Paul Puglisi going to fight for it. Great pass right in front to get it out of the zone, and Michael Radisa takes over the freshman for Plattsburgh, and he will dump it into the zone while Plattsburgh makes a line change. Puck going to carry him around the board. Sam Foley going to look to take over. A little bit of a dangerous play right there as Foley gets caught out of position. Deflection in front. Shot just going to go to the left from Pat Mahoney, but does not go into the net. Luckily, he goes wide. Alex Jensen now with the puck as he is offsides. Connor Gorman jumped the line just a little bit too early. Faceoff comes back out in the neutral zone.
Good passing from Plattsburgh there. The Gorman to Jensen right there on the outside, hitting Jensen right as he crossed into the neutral zone.
13:42 remaining here, first period. Shots on goal still 2-0 in favor of the Plattsburgh Cardinals. As the faceoff comes just outside of Tommy's zone. Curling going to look to take over. Travis Baker with the puck now. He's going to dump it into the zone. That's going to be chased down by Alex Nystrom along with Rich Botting. Baker to the right side now, going to face off the challenge from Brandon Bedell along with Alex Jensen in there as well. Nystrom going to tee up for a shot. That gets deflected up in the netting behind Sam Foley. Face-off going to come just in front. Very fast-paced game here in the early going.
So far, 13:24 remaining in the first period. Both teams playing very fast, fast skating, quick passes, quick line changes here from Plattsburgh. It's going to be interesting to see if they can keep that up. I know Bob Emery likes to make sure that he has fresh legs on the ice as much as he can, so the quick line changes are not anything new. He implements that into his offensive scheme every game.
Nick Jensen trying to make his way through as Dylan Fox sends that through. That's going to be offsides called, so Thomas is going to have to take over again. St. Thomas behind the net now as there is pressure from Zach Pop along with Dylan Fox and Nick Jensen. Jensen going to come around the right side. He's going to try to wrap it around as that puck gets deflected back behind the net. Dylan Fox going to take over now as that goes over to the backside. Here is Calabrese with the puck. Right, there's Mike Grace for the point. Grace over to Zach Pop. Pop with a shot blocked right in front by Anthony Moser. Good heads-up play by Anthony Moser to block a shot from Zach Pop just outside the slot as icing is looking to be called here as Mike Grace touches up behind Sam Foley. 12:40 to go, first period. Good defensive play right there by Anthony Moser getting down and blocking the shot for St. Thomas. Zach Pop with a great chance about 10 feet outside the net.
Only 2 shots on goal combined between these two teams so far here. 12 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the period. Puglisi and Royman back on defense for Plattsburgh. Andrew Smith, Jake Mooney, and Jared Docking on offense for the Cardinals.
Puck back drop, face-off win by St. Thomas, but taken away by Jared Docking. Docking, the first goal scorer for the Cardinals in yesterday's contest against Middlebury. As now he has the puck as he tries to give it off to Jake Mooney. Mooney going to make his way through as now Docking takes over again as they play a little bit of handoff in the corner. Barry Royman with the puck now back to Paul Puglisi. That gets deflected away, and here comes Bryce Walker for the Tommies. Bryce Walker going to make his way up as he falls to the ground. Paul Puglisi right there with him as he will take over for the Cardinals. Bryce Walker playing strong on the forecheck as Puglisi barely gets it away from him. As he sends it up to the left side now for Jared Docking. Docking going to chase it into the corner. Andrew Smith along there with him. Andrew Smith comes out with the puck. Tries to send one into the middle for Michael Radisa, but Radisa not there to take the puck away. Pass inside from Brandon Bedell to Radisa, cannot come up with the puck, and St. Thomas will take over once again. Puck coming up the right side as Brandon Bedell has it in the neutral zone yet again for the Cardinals. As Robbie Vanelli going to take over, he'll send that up right in front. Play goes up in the air. Michael Cassidy taking it and sticking it down as he has the puck into the corner. Bedell going to send it back into the zone for the Cardinals as David Russ chases around with Michael Radisa right on his back. Vanelli with the puck now up to Riley Horgan. Horgan going to send it to Vanelli. Vanelli going to try to make the pass, but that goes right to the stick of Michael Cassidy. Cassidy going to give it up to Alex Jensen, who dumps it back into the zone, and he will chase it now. Vanelli going to take over, gives it up to David Russ on the left side of Tyrone Simcoe. Now Alex Nystrom making his way onto the ice. Gets a little bit of a shot back as they send it back down. Play continuing in the corner as Alex Nystrom with the puck, looking to make a play with it. As that goes back into the neutral zone where Michael Craig will take over. Alex Jensen with a little bit of a bounce takes control for Plattsburgh. That is dumped into the zone by Gorman. Alex Jensen with the puck, looks for Gorman in front, but it cannot make the play as just a little too fast as the puck gets hit up in the air, and Travis Baker dumps it into the Plattsburgh Cardinals zone.
They tried to split up that defense, Mike, and get some quick passes through and in front of the net. Gorman was waiting for it right there, but he was between 3 Tommy's defenders and just could not get a clean shot with the puck. And it ended up being a turnover for Plattsburgh, and St. Thomas moving it back down towards Sam Foley.
3-on-2 chance for Plattsburgh, wasted as the puck went behind Mike Grace on the pass across ice, as now the Tommies will take over. Shot in front by Chris Cass. Cass just missing to the left side after it was deflected. Dylan Fox with the puck now. He will dump it into the zone to the left opposite corner where it's going to be chased by Nick Jensen along with Anthony Moser. Fox with a good hit on Moser. Comes behind the ice right in front, but that is taken over by Derek Jacobson. Jacobson giving it up to Kirtland. Kirtland going to go off the glass, going to send it down the other end of the ice. Icing going to be called as Reutman touches up. 9:24 to play, first period. Shots still only 3-0 in favor of Plattsburgh.
This line of Reutman, Puglisi, Mooney, Docking, and Jensen getting a lot of time now. Pop on the ice, Botting and Bedeau back on defense for Plattsburgh.
Puck taken over by St. Thomas once again as Brandon Bandman makes his way up through the zone. Bedeau with the puck now. That's going to be taken away. Good forecheck play by Altenbrand. Alex Altenbrand looking for the pass in front, trying to find Connor McBride, but he will not be able to make the play. And Plattsburgh takes back over as Nick Jensen has it. Jensen going to find Brandon Bedeau as they get into the neutral zone. He flips one way high up into the air. As now Connor McBride going to look to take over. Great little deep move by McBride. McBride going to give it to Altenbrand. Altenbrand with a shot blocked by Bedeau. Coming in is David Russ, just misses to the right side. Benelli going to dump that one into the zone where Docking's going to take over for Plattsburgh. A little bit of a misplay right in front. Gets blocked in front, which would have been a wide open shot for Connor McBride on that play. McBride going to look to tee up as he sends it over to Rob Benelli. Benelli looking for McBride in the middle, but that goes just a little bit too long as that is taken over by Plattsburgh behind their own net. Good chance for St. Thomas right there, but they could not capitalize. We still remain scoreless with just over 8 to play in the first period as Tyler Simcoe looks to take over as Jeremy Hepler has it on the right side.
Pretty even game played here so far, Mike. No team really stepping out or playing that much more physical than the other. Kind of surprising seeing as how St. Thomas played yesterday. Could be because they know Plattsburgh is a fast team. They're just countering speed with speed, making their defense work as hard as they are. Plattsburgh having a lot more time of possession down in St. Thomas's zone, however, but have not had any clear alleyways or good angles to take a shot down on Ty Simcoe.
St. Thomas going to make their way up the right side as that is Tyler Richter with the puck. He gives it off to Riley Horgan, who gives it right back to Hepler. Hepler going to dump it into the zone, but that goes out of play. 7:18 to play. Shots now 2-2. Here as we remain scoreless with just over 7 to play here in the first period. Face-off going to be coming just outside Plattsburgh Cardinal zone. As Alex Altenbrand going to look to be taking the face-off. He jumps a little bit too early. That's going to allow Alex Nystrom to come in. Face-off won by the Cardinals, then is given back to Barry Reutman, who sends it over to Puglisi. Puglisi up to Jensen. Jensen looking for Constantine. As Constantine makes his way into the corner, Connor Gorman going to look to take over. Is now Constantine trying to find the buck as they fight for it. Travis Baker and Paul Puglisi looking forward as well, as now Reutman going to take over. He's in a one-on-one battle with Alex Nystrom. There's Alex Jensen with the puck now as he brings it up. Connor Gorman on the right side. Gorman going to look to make a play. Gorman going to double back. He gets hit into the boards hard by Nystrom. Alex Jensen looking to take over, but there's the captain, Robbie Vanelli. Vanelli going to find Alex Nystrom in the neutral zone. That gets stopped right in front is at center ice. As that is dumped into the zone by Plattsburgh as Simcoe gloves it up and gives it away to David Russ. Russ with the puck back over to Vanelli, going to try to find Altenbrand. Hits off Altenbrand's skate. There's Dylan Fox with a shot, just goes wide of the net to the right side. Altenbrand going to find the puck, but that is taken over by Plattsburgh again as Nick Jensen going to send it through. Dylan Fox right in front trying to deal with David Russ in the corner. As Nick Jensen now with Robbie Vanelli in the corner, as here comes Zach Pop trying to take the puck away. Zach Bach comes up with the puck with the possession. He goes through. That's going to be taken away now by Brandon Banman. Banman up the left side. Comes through. He dumps it off to Chris Cass. As they make their way through the neutral zone now is Plattsburgh. Nick Jensen with the puck, looking for Dylan Fox, but isn't able to make the play as Kirtland is right there. Calabrese just keeps it into the zone, but now the offside is going to be called. 5:38 to play. Face-off going to be coming back into the neutral zone. Brendan McBride and Walker out there for St. Thomas. Docking, Mooney, and Smith out there for the Cardinals. As Kirtland takes over and gives it over to as Moser and Docking chase. Docking hits Moser hard into the boards as that gets chased down into the Plattsburgh Cardinals zone once again. Connor Gorman with the puck as he gets hit. As Jared Docking makes his way through, as the physicality in this game starting to pick up a little bit as we have just over 5 minutes to play in the third period. Puglisi looking to keep it in. Linesman waves the icing off as Jeremy Hepler makes his way behind the net as St. Thomas looks for another defensive player on the change. Hepler staying there behind as Plattsburgh sending 3 men up on the forecheck. They carry one off the boards as now Reutemann makes his way through, but that's going to be called offsides as one of the 3 Plattsburgh forecheck men did not make their way back over the blue line in time. Physicality in this game starting to pick up a little bit. I saw Jared Docking lay a hit for Plattsburgh in the corner. St. Thomas playing with their usual physicality just like they did last night.
Now Riley Horgan starting to get a little bit more physical as well for St. Thomas. Pat Mahoney now just taking the face-off there for the Tommies. Their physical play is coming in as what we saw from the Norwich game yesterday, where they were hitting some of those cadets into the boards pretty hard. They're starting to pick that up here with just under 5 minutes remaining in the first period. Puglisi and Reutemann back on the ice on defense for Plattsburgh. The fourth line of Cassidy, Radisa, and Alex Brenton on for Plattsburgh.
Plattsburgh looking to take over, almost a turnover right there as Barry Reutemann has it. We got a player down on the ice. That is Michael Cassidy. Cassidy's right leg. Something seems to be wrong on the right leg of number 26, Michael Cassidy, as he limps into the bench area.
That looked like it hurt Mike. He hit the boards pretty hard and he went down right as he hit the ice. You knew that something was wrong. He did not get up. Stick was down. Ref called the whistle, blew the whistle. He got off the ice immediately and he is sitting on the bench now. They're probably going to take him into the locker room relatively soon. Big hit there by St. Thomas on Michael Cassidy.
Connor Gorman with the puck now on the left side, sends a cross-ice pass through the legs of Nystrom over to Mark Constantine as Richter looks to make a move as Altenbrand sends it up the ice for Brandon Beddoe, now has it in the neutral zone. Puck sent back in by Rich Botting. Simcoe going to play it behind the net. Good heads-up play right there for Plattsburgh as he has to dodge the referee. Connor Gorman does, as that gets set back in the neutral zone where Rich Botting takes over, the freshman from Binghamton. Alex Altenbrand now making his way up the right side of the ice. He's got 1-on-4 as he makes his way through. He's going to set up trying to find a pass. He hits Robbie Vanelli. Vanelli gives it back to Travis Baker. Baker with a deep move as now Vanelli has it again, sends it over to David Russ. Russ with a shot, blocked in front by Mark Constantine. And dumped back down to the other end where Vanelli's going to take over.
Line change for Plattsburgh here. Again, Jensen back on the ice with Zach Pop and Dylan Fox.
Nick Jensen along with Zach Pop going to look to take over as Jensen behind the net. Now back to Zach Pop. Pop going to look. Pop going to try to take a backhand shot. Jensen there for the rebound, but that is knocked away by Vanelli. Good heads-up defensive play by Rob Vanelli as Nick Jensen sends one through the middle with a cross-ice pass. Cannot complete the rebound play to put one in. There's Jensen again with the puck. He comes up the right side. That gets blocked by David Russ just in front of him and taken back over by Bryce Walker. Walker looking for the pass to Connor McBride, cannot make it, but here comes Spencer Brendel. Brendel going to take a shot about 5 feet wide of the net. As now Walker sends one through, that is patted away by Sam Foley.
Good save by Sam Foley there, right at the post, kicking it away. Not a lot of shots on goal so far in this game. Only 5 combined, 3 for Plattsburgh, 2 for St. Thomas. A very defensive showing here of clearing the puck out quickly as it gets into the opposing zone. Good job here by both teams. As you can see, 2:37 remaining on the clock. And Michael Cassidy now skating on one leg, getting taken off the ice here for Plattsburgh.
Face-off going to be coming in St. Thomas' zone here at 2:37 to play, first period. Face-off gets tied up, and St. Thomas will take over as the defender. Anthony Moser makes his way in. Moser going to look, turns the puck over in his own zone for Jared Docking. Docking going to send it back to Reutemann. Reutemann over to Puglisi. Puglisi looking up the middle, but it is taken away by Chris Cass. Chris Cass with the puck now 3-on-2, going to give it up as there's Anthony Moser. Moser going to send one into the middle, taken over by Jared Docking. Docking up the Paul Puglisi, going to make his way through. Great play right there by Derek Jacobson to take over. Is now Moser with the puck, going to make his way through as John Kirtland has it up the left side. Kirtland going to send it up as that is deflected by Brandon Bamman. Bamman makes his way through, but Reutemann going to look to take over as he is pressured by Chris Cass behind the net. Barry Reutemann with the puck, going to make his way behind Sam Foley, trying to regroup a little bit for Plattsburgh here with just under 2 minutes to play in the first. Alex Breton going to send one off the glass as he will chase that in where Michael Craig is. Jeremy Hepler there as well. Nick Jensen lays a hard hit on Jeremy Hepler as now Rich Botting has the puck for Plattsburgh. That's blocked in front by Tyler Richter as now Breton going to take over once again. Dylan Fox trying to make his way through as Michael Craig knocks that out of harm's way. As here comes Michael Rediso looking for his teammate Connor Gorman, as that is sent back down into the red line once again. Rich Botting with the puck down for Plattsburgh with about a minute to play here in the first period. As that is sent up into the middle where Gorman will take over. Constantine and Alex Jensen going to chase their way in. Constantine looking for the puck, but taken away by David Russ, who gives it up to Mahoney. Mahoney going to find Travis Baker as Baker dumps it into the zone. Baker going to chase it in along with Brandon Bedell, but that is covered up by Sam Foley. 45.7 to play, first period action.
Good awareness there by Foley. He thought Bedell was going to take that behind the net and mishandled the puck and ended up going right in front of his right skate. He fell on top of that, covered it up. Now with 45.7 seconds remaining here in the first period of play, St. Thomas and Plattsburgh knotted up at 0. Speed countering speed. Physicality starting to pick up for both teams here. Hits getting laid out into the boards. Plattsburgh already getting the brunt of those, with Michael Cassidy leaving this game with what looked like a leg injury. Hopefully he will be back on the ice for this team soon. It does not look like he will be returning this game, however.
Jake Mooney with the puck being challenged by Anthony Moser in St. Thomas zone. As now Alex Nystrom going to take over, just under 20 seconds to play in the first period. Bryce Walker and Spencer Brendo going to chase that in as Jake Mooney has the puck now. Mike Gray's going to look to take over. He's challenged by Nystrom along with Spencer Brendel. That'll do it for the first period. We are scoreless after one. Shots 3-2, and Victor, that is the biggest surprise so far. Only 5 shots on goal for both teams combined.
These are 2 high-powered offenses. Plattsburgh averaging just under 6 goals a game. St. Thomas coming into this tournament at 4-0, 5-2-1 overall. Both teams very good offenses, getting not that many opportunities with shots on goal. As you can see, only 5 combined between these two. St. Thomas doing a good job of cutting off the passing lanes, intercepting passes, and creating the turnovers in their zone to end the threat from this Cardinals offense. Plattsburgh doing a good job of getting the puck on the boards and turning it around behind Foley and getting rid of it out of their zone. So it's going to be an interesting second period with these 2 offenses. So let's see what action we get on the ice here. Good goaltending by Sam Foley and Ty Simcoe for St. Thomas.
That is right, Victor. We will be back with second period action. You're watching the consolation game here at the 15th annual Primelink Great Northern Shootout.